Hi, my dear students. Very good morning. Welcome back to my class. Let us start today's class. Students, as you all know that now we are discussing about the topic name our environment, right? In the previous lectures, I have explained about the importance of surroundings, nature and all, why our organisms require the basic requirements and how we are going to get all those things about the pollution, everything we discussed in the previous class. Now, the effect of human activity on environment at present I am going to discuss. Students, humans affect regional and the global environments through the agriculture, development and industries. See students, there are two regions for the pollution, environmental pollution. What are those two regions, students? The one is, and the second one is the man-made activities. Now, at present, we are discussing about the man activities which are leading to the environmental damage, or you can say environmental pollution. So here, before going to deep explanation of this topic, I would like to give a small clarity that students, humans are the well matured organisms. Simply will consider the human social animals, and due to the urbanization, globalization, our technology is improved, right? So students, we ourselves spoiling our mother nature. So the consequences of this environmental damage, it may affects the human at last. So we all should be well aware of the environment and the pollution and all. That is the reason these type of topics are included in the NCERT textbook. Students, to listen these classes, I think you may feel some kind of boring and all, but as a citizen of India, as a responsible human being, you all should have the proper awareness about our nature and environment. So what we are, what the nature is giving to us, and in what way you have to show your gratitude towards the nature. Each and everything is very, very important in our survival. Now let us go into the deep of the topic, students. Here the human affects regional and the global environments through the agriculture and the development and the industries. Huge impact on the quality of Earth's natural resources, such as including soil, water and the atmosphere. Or the man activities are showing the huge impact on these factors such as soil, water and the atmosphere. Right? Human impact on the environment. The impact of human activities and the environmental health sometimes needs to be monitored. This could be measuring abiotic factors such as oxygen levels, pollution, or by sampling of the organisms. One method to monitor the environment is to look the presence of and absence of indicator species. Right? Let us discuss about the global warming. You know, increase of Earth's temperature, Earth's surface temperature is nothing but the global warming, right? And global warming, as we know that, as increasing temperatures of the Earth's atmosphere, simply mean our Earth is getting hot. Our Earth is getting hot. So the scientific community believes that climate like global warming have occurred throughout the Earth's history and will continue to occur in the future. So far occur, and it is going to continue in the future also. Scientists have spent decades of figuring out of the what is the causing the global warming. Students, scientists carried out tremendous scientific research works why this situation occur. So And let us define the global warming. Global warming is the increase of Earth's average surface temperature due to the effect of greenhouse gases. So, with the increased usage of these greenhouse gases resulting in the global warming. Such as, first one is the carbon dioxide emission from the burning fossil fuels or from the deforestation, which traps the heat would otherwise escapes from the earth. This type of effect is called greenhouse effect. Generally, first and foremost reason for the global warming is, students, deforestation. So here I want to explain only one thing, that children, there are two types of living creatures in the nature. What are those? Plants and animals, right, students? Animals require oxygen for their survival. You know that very well. Even the oxygen which we are getting from the atmosphere, it is liberated from the plants. Okay, plants perform the process of photosynthesis. They'll take carbon dioxide and water, and they're going to synthesize the carbohydrate, that is nothing but the glucose, and they are going to liberate the oxygen and the water. As a result of photosynthesis, plants are liberating the oxygen into the atmosphere. That is the fundamental thing. And we animals used to perform the process of one of the basic life process, that is respiration, children. Okay, as a result of respiration, glucose is going to break down into the carbon dioxide and the water. So as a result, animals liberating carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. That liberated carbon dioxide is taken by our plants. So the ratio of the carbon dioxide and the oxygen levels are when they're maintained constantly, students. So when we have enough number of animals and the plants on the earth, then only this ratio can be balanced. Otherwise, if any number is less, means obviously it may affect the balance of the carbon dioxide as well as the oxygen. Only this thing you have to keep it in your mind, students. So now what we are doing, due to the urbanization, the globalization and all, due to the industries and all, simply we are cutting the plants. So we are encouraging the deforestation. So we are not allowing the plants to grow in and around all the surroundings. So simply we are cutting the plants, we are turning the villages into small cities, we are converting the agricultural lands into commercial lands. So where is the space to grow the plants, students? No. And one more thing, if we'll construct any highway for kilometers, and we need to cut so many plants. So because of all these are the man activities, because of these man activities we are going for deforestation. As a result, the number of plants are decreasing day by day. So the animals are increasing. As a result, what will happen? We cannot maintain the proper balance between the carbon dioxide and the oxygen in the nature. That is the first reason of global warming. So here, as a result, the carbon dioxide levels are increasing day by day. As a result, see, this increased carbon dioxide emissions from the burning the fossil fuels, we are using the automobiles, like industries and all, the dioxide and the toxic gases are liberated into the atmosphere. So students, this increased carbon dioxide levels trap the heat that would otherwise escapes from the earth. Generally, heat is going to escapes from the earth. okay, to keep the to keep the entire globe warm. So because of this excess usage of this greenhouse gases, it leads to the increased levels of the earth's temperature, and it's also made the increased levels of carbon dioxide. It doesn't allows the heat out of the earth's surface. It is holding the heat. So this particular effect is not nothing but the greenhouse effect. Understand, students? Right? And the increased temperature is nothing but the global warming. It is all due to the greenhouse gases. Right? And let us discuss the climate change, global warming and the greenhouse gases very individually. First, let us discuss about the climate change. It is a significant and lasting change in the statistical distribution of weather patterns over periods of ranging from decades and the millions of years. Global warming. It refers to an unequivocal and continuing rise in the average temperature of Earth's climate system. And the second one is the greenhouse effect is a process by which thermal radiation from a planetary surface is absorbed by atmospheric greenhouse gases and is a re-radiation in all the directions. See, students, these are the different reasons. Effects of pollution. Environmental degradation. See, environment is the first casualty for increase in the pollution, whether in air or water. The increase in amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere leads to the smoke, which can restrict the sunlight from reaching the earth, thus preventing the plant in the process of photosynthesis. See, students, increased carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere, it forms smoke. This form restrict the falling of the sun rays onto the earth. So as a result, plants will not get enough levels of the sunlight for the process of photosynthesis. Gases like sulfur dioxide and the nitrogen oxide, they can cause acid rains. Water pollution in terms of oil slick may lead to the death of the several species. Way to stop global warming. In what ways can we reduce the global warming? By planting trees, reducing the waste and conserve the water, reduce the fossil uses of fossil fuels, and walking, recycling, reduce and reuse. These are the different ways we can stop the global warming, students. And see, many ways to stop the global warming. So like stop fossil fuels, stop factory pollution, which will cause lack of oxygen, reduce waste, and use solar power energy, use clean coal and oil, and drive low emission and more fuel efficiency vehicles, plant trees. Environmental pollution. There are different types of environmental pollution we have discussed, like air, water and land pollutions, and ozone layer depletion. Very important point, students. First of all, let us discuss about the ozone. So students, the O3 is nothing but ozone. A gas composed of 3 atoms of oxygen is ozone. So bluish gas that is harmful to the breath. Nearly 90% of the Earth's ozone is in the stratosphere and referred as a ozone layer. See, students, 90% of ozone is in the stratosphere and it referred to as the ozone layer. Ozone absorbs the UV rays, that is, see, it prevents the direct effect of UV rays on the earth. See, students, this is the ozone molecule, and so when it's break down to form oxygen and the free oxygen atom, right? And substances which cause ozone depletion. So see, as a students, so in the year 1985, scientists were noticed that there is a hole in the ozone layer. So because of the what reasons it is getting like that, students, let me discuss. By using the refrigerants. So from the refrigerators, so there is a liberation of toxic gases such as chlorofluorocarbons. And the second one is insulating foams. Third one is solvents. Fourth one is aerosols. So these are the different causes for the ozone depletion. Let us see students, ozone layer. Ozone is a triatomic form of oxygen found in the Earth's upper and the lower atmosphere, and the ozone layer is situated in the stratosphere about 15 to 30 kilometers above the Earth's surface. Ozone protects the living organism by absorbing harmful ultraviolet radiations from the sun. Ozone layer is being destroyed by CFCs and other substances. You know what you means chlorofluorocarbons. Ozone depletion progressing globally accepted in the zone. See students, this is the sun and so this is the earth's surface, right? Troposphere, and it is followed by the stratosphere. Here we could notice the presence of ozone layer. So it is like this ozone layer is like umbrella. It is protecting the entire earth from the harmful UV radiations that are emitted from the sun. See students, then let us discuss about the ozone depletion now. Decrease in the concentration of ozone or thinning of the ozone layer is called ozone depletion. See students, thinning of the ozone layer, thinning of ozone layer is called ozone depletion. Okay children, right. And from industries and our day-to-day life, many greenhouse gases like chlorofluorocarbons, hydrofluorocarbons, halogens are getting involved in the atmosphere, which are mainly responsible for the ozone depletion. What are those children? So, release of CFCs and release of chlorofluorocarbons. Release of students, chlorofluorocarbons and halogens, and these are getting evolved in the atmosphere, which are mainly responsible for the ozone depletion, and it produce chlorine atom. So let's take a look of the ozone depletion now students. See, this is the ozone depletion. Here the radiations are going to emit from the sun or ultraviolet radiations. Here this is the earth students, and next to this we have, this is the atmosphere. The circle this indicates the atmosphere, and the next circle is nothing but the indication of ozone layer. So the slowly it is going to be, ozone layer is going to be thinning or the depletion of ozone layer. So this figure give the explanation about this ozone layer depletion students. In the now, let us concentrate on the waste management. See students, everywhere, even in our living organism also, by the so many metabolic reactions or metabolites and all, so many metabolic materials are produced in our body. They should not be present in our body. Time to time they need to sent out of the body by the process of excretion. So by sending urine or by excreting the excretory material, by the sweating and all these are the different ways of organisms send, it can send their waste materials into out of the body. The reason is that waste should not be stored. If it is stored, means some type of health problems we used to get immediately. The same way, in environment also, due to the natural reasons or due to the artificial regions or due to the man-made regions, lot of waste is going to be collected every day. Of course, waste obviously we are going to be produce, but so we are not properly disposing the waste correctly. So due to this thing, spoiling our nature. Now let us discuss about waste management now. Actually, students, there are two types of waste materials are there: biodegradable waste and non-biodegradable waste. There are two types of wastes are there, students. What are those? Biodegradable and non-biodegradable. Biodegradable means it is able to rot naturally, and non-biodegradable means it cannot naturally decompose. Let me discuss. See, students, biodegradable waste can be decomposed into simple inorganic substances. Simple inorganic substances by what activity, students? By the microbial activity. See, students, already in our 8th standard we learned about the useful microorganisms. We learned about two different types of microorganisms, useful as well as the harmful microorganisms. So, useful microorganisms in the sense, students, there are some type of bacteria or fungi, they are helping us like anything. Simply, they are converting the waste biodegradable substances into the useful simple inorganic substances, and that is again reused by the plants, right? So, it's nothing but it's a type of manure or natural fertilizer. It can be reused by the plants, so it will be beneficial for the nature as well as the mankind as well as the animals also. So this type of wastes are called biodegradable waste, and this is going to be take care by our microorganisms, example some fungi and some bacteria. By the process, students, decomposition. Generally, students, the so-called bacteria and the fungi collecting the saprophyte, they'll be following the saprophyte nutrition, means they'll be collecting the food and the nutrients from the dead and decayed ones or from the waste materials. Even in the waste also some useful nutrients are there. These useful nutrients are required for the proper growth and development of our bacteria and the fungi, right? They can't cook and they can't earn the food, right? So simply they'll be dragging the nutrients from the waste matter. So in that process, slowly they're decomposing the matter. So this particular technical procedure name is decomposition. So with this action, so they are converting the biodegradable substances into useful simple inorganic substances. It will be reused by the plants. Next, I said no, second type of thing or non-biodegradable waste. Non-biodegradable waste, students. So, and these are not at all decomposed by the microorganisms. The reason is that these things are not suitable for the process of decomposition, and the best examples are polythene bags. Polythene bags. That's the reason now and then government is restricting the uses of the polythene bags, and the plastic also, students, we are using like anything. Simply we are literally depending upon the more plastic uses. Even the in the YouTubes we are listening that even the food plastic eggs are we are eating, plastic rice, something we are listening in the YouTube. I don't know whether they are correct or not. So everywhere they are using the plastic, students. So it is very dangerous substances. So it doesn't useful for us, and indirectly it is causing a lot of damage to the nature. At the same time, it is one of the main causative the reason for the pollution, students. But what to do, we are habituated with the excess uses of the plastic and all. So let us say, I think now and then we have to go back to our ancestors time, like uses of the mud pots and mud vessels and all. So let us see, students, in future we may have the uses of those things, right? So it's about the biodegradable waste and non-biodegradable wastes. So First, let us discuss about the biodegradable waste individually. Students, these wastes are dry leaves, are vegetable peels, fruit peels, eggshells, papers, and leftover food items. This waste can be converted into compost and used as a manure. This will reduce the amount of garbage. See students, biodegradable wastes, these wastes can be converted into the manure. So all these the wastes, see students, all these wastes can be converted into useful form, that is manure. And you know, manure will be used for the plants growth and development. Okay, so we can convert it into the compost. This will reduce the amount of manure preparation, will reduce the amount of garbage. It will reduce the amount of garbage, students. Very important thing, right? Amount of garbage. And excuse me. Next, let us talk about non-biodegradable waste material. Non-biodegradable waste in the sense the waste that cannot be broken down naturally either by air, climate, moisture or soil. Even the microorganisms also cannot able to touch this thing. So such a toxic and such a dangerous substances. Non-biodegradable wastes are generated by thermal power plants which produces fly ash, integrated iron, steel plants which produce a blast furnace, slag, steel melting slags. So all these are the non-biodegradable wastes. So these are nowhere utilized again and nowhere useful for the life, right? Let us know the differences between biodegradable and non-biodegradable waste materials. See students, it can be break down into natural components. Non-biodegradable, it cannot break down into the natural components. That is the first point. It exists for the short time, it exists for the long time. It can be recycled, it cannot be recycled. For example, old vegetables, paper, cardboard, etc., and used leftover food materials may be the best example for this biodegradable waste materials. For example, tires, plastic, metals, polythene bags, all these are the different examples for the non-biodegradable waste materials. So let me once again give the differences between the biodegradable as the non-biodegradable waste materials. So students, it can be break down into natural components and it cannot be break down into natural components. It exists for short time, whereas it is exist for just long time, and it can be recycled, it cannot be recycled. For example, old vegetables and paper, cardboard, etc. These are the best examples of biodegradable waste materials. For example, tires, plastic, metals, etc. These are the different examples for non-biodegradable wastes. Like types and sources of the waste. Let us now we are going to be know about the different types of wastes and what are the sources of it. Now we are going to discuss now. So municipal solid waste, so residential, industrial, commercial, construction demolitions, municipal services and all. See, residential may be food waste, paper, cardboard, plastic, textiles, leather, jute bags, so white goods, batteries, oils, phones, so household hazardous waste. So see, e-wastes, now and then we are using the term e-waste. So keyboard, all computer waste materials, electronic gadgets waste materials, we are using a new word, that is e-waste. Next, industries, housekeeping waste, packaging, food wastes, food, wood, steel, concrete, bricks, ashes, hazardous waste from the industry, students. So there is a daily elimination of a lot of toxic chemical substances. They are eliminating either in the form of gaseous form or the liquid form, in the form of solid form. They are sending their waste and dangerous and dreadful substances into the environment. And construction and demolitions, wood, steel, see, and if I want to construct a new apartment, before I need to demolish the previous one old building. So as a result, we'll get wood, steel, concrete, soil, bricks, tiles, glasses, plastics, insulation, hazardous and waste materials, municipal services, street sweepings, landscape, and trimming, sludge, waste from the recreational areas. So these are the different types of sources of the waste. And see, there are different types of wastes are there. Mostly they are the industrial waste from the industries. So many waste will be coming out, like bags and all, agriculture, hemp, straw, and agriculture waste materials, like next hazardous waste. These are maybe coming from the fertilizers industries, plastic industries and all. See, radioactive wastes are there, and medical waste from the hospital. Lot of some tons of waste is going to be producing, that they'll use the syringes, disposal items, even from the restaurants and in the commercial buildings, like shopping malls. We are using unnecessarily, we are using the polythene bags, students, right? And when you'll go out to the market or to want to purchase any items, even if you'll go for the shopping malls, better to carry it's a jute bag, carry bag. It is very essential thing. You have to be keep a separate set of bags in your cars or in your two-wheelers, so that no need to purchase some polythene bag from outside. Generally we required the bags just to carry the goods, right? So if you'll have the such a very good habit, students, please tell this thing to your parents and the relatives and your grandparents. Let them carry a jute bag or useful carry bag when they'll go out for shopping or for marketing, so that we can avoid purchasing a new polythene bag. So students, somehow some part we need to fulfill as a responsible citizen. See student, that why we need to learn about all these things about the pollution, why we need to conscious about the environment, why conscious pollution. Students, let me, being a citizen of an India, being a responsible citizen of India, you should well aware of all the things, all the consequences, everything. So being a good child, being a good students, so you learn. And the subject is not only for just giving the answers and getting rank. Students should be well educated. Educated means education in the sense, so it is giving a right way for our life. So we should learn, we should imbibe all the things, students. And not only we have to tell the good things to our siblings, our parents. Even if you'll say good words, students, even your parents also will listen. They'll go out, so you have to tell your father to wear the helmet. And if they're driving the car, you need to remind the people to wear the seat belt. So all these are the good things, students. Actually, when good things we'll say to our parents, definitely they'll listen. Okay, so they love your care, they love your affection and all. Definitely they will listen. In the same way, you have to listen your parental words and all. So it is the give and take thing. So you are telling all these things, you are for your sake of your parents. In the same way, if the parents are telling you to read, telling you don't play unnecessarily with the electronic gadgets and all, for your sake they are telling. So it is for our sake. So take the things in a positive way, give positive directions and positive suggestions to your parents. So we have to maintain a good, healthy relationship with your families. Students, now these are the different types of wastes, students. And now let us talk about bioplastic. Okay, so these days plastics are predominantly made from the crude oil. Okay, from where we are synthesizing or manufacturing this plastic, students? From the crude oil. And in this context, renewable sources are becoming a more viable and promising alternative for the plastic industry. Renewable resources. When plastics made from petroleum are burned, they release the carbon dioxide contained in the petroleum in the atmosphere. Simply when we'll burn this plastic, when we'll burn this, see, once again you just try to burn one paper, students. and we just immediately try to burn one polythene. Immediately we'll get some awkward smell from the burning. So it is not permitted for breathing. Okay, it is some intoxic, right, and leading to the global warming. The use of bioplastics offer significant advantage not only in an ecological sense but also in a economical sense. So in the commercial purpose we can also save the money, right? So if it, now and then we have to show more interest for uses of the bioplastics. So in what way organic farming is now and then encouraging, in the same way uses of the bioplastics are encouraging, right? So waste management, right? Waste management refer to the activities. See students, waste management refer to the activities connected with the collection, disposal of the waste. Waste management comprises following activities, students. What are those? Waste collection, waste transportation, waste segregation, waste recycling, waste disposal, and waste minimization and the control. So all these are different activities. We need to be very look over all these things like waste collection, transportation, waste segregation, waste recycling, waste disposal, waste minimization. See, municipality people, they'll be collecting the waste from the domestic areas, at the same time from the residential, from the commercial areas. So first they'll collect with the help of the like vehicles and all. Now they'll transport those vehicles, this waste, into a certain places there where they're going to be distinguish the useful waste from the non-useful waste. Okay, useful waste. So first of all they'll be separate the waste basing on the wet as well as the dry waste. Wet waste can be used for the recycling, for the reuse. Also they'll be used that for the manure preparation or biofertilizer preparation. Wet waste like tins, plastics, polythene, like clips and all, they'll be used for the recycling process. Okay, waste segregation, waste recycling, waste disposal, waste minimization and control, right? So what waste hierarchy? Very important point. First let me give the clarity about waste hierarchy. Waste hierarchy is a tool used in the evaluation of process that protects the environment alongside resources and energy consumption to the most favorable to least favorable action. So this is the pyramid, students. See, and it starts with the disposal, energy recovery, recycling, reuse, minimization, prevention. What are those, students? Disposal, energy recovery, recycling, reuse, minimization and the prevention. See here, this waste hierarchy refers about the 3 R's. 3 R's. What are the 3 R's? Reduce, reuse, recycle. These 3 words, 3 R's. Reduce, reuse and we have to minimize usage of materials. We have to reuse the things, and if we need to recycle the things. Like methods of waste disposal. See students, landfills, incinerations, waste compaction, biogas generations. In the biogas, we'll be using the cow dung and cattle dung for the biogas preparation. So with this using this biogas, we can biogas stoves are there. We can go for cooking and all, and composting, vermicomposting. So with these two process, manure is preparing now and then. And even in the farms, farmers are using this method for the preparation of natural fertilizer, the manure. This is nothing but the organic farming. Now and then farmers are showing more interest for the organic farming. So organic farmed vegetables, fruits are good taste. So and they're rich in the nutrients and all. So they're not having any chemical things in there. So if you habituate to eat this organic farming food materials, means I'm sure that in future we won't get the cancers and all. Right. Now let me give the definition about the composting. In this method, bulk organic waste is converted into the fertilizing manure. See students, in this organic waste should be converted into the fertilizers, okay, and that to the natural fertilizers, and this is nothing but the manure. This separated compostable waste is dumped in the underground. Certain microorganisms such as actinomycetes are introduced for the activity decomposition. So this particular process is going to be take care by our microorganisms. They are going to perform the process of decomposition. Simply they'll convert the useful organic waste into natural fertilizers, and this natural fertilizer is nothing but the manure. This will be used by the farmers for the farming and all. So that's all for today, students. I hope you all understood my topic. And see students, and with this lecture I am completed the our environment, and in the coming lesson I am going to give the summary of the whole lesson. Until that, thank you all. Thank you so much. Please refer the NCERT textbook as well as our institute material, and not only watching the videos, you have to read. Then only you can understand the things, then only you can remind the things for a long time. See students, so we are struggling a lot to uploading the videos. We are doing the videos and all. Please students, do watching the videos, okay. Don't waste time. Almost half of the academic year is completed, right? Schools are about to start, okay. Tune yourself and try to focus on the studies, okay. Don't play with the electronic gadgets, okay. This is the love, this is the written love you have to show to your parents. Students, I hope you all understood. You are not a small kids, you are the matured students, right? Thank you all. Thank you so much.